So the local elections are literally, well, this coming Thursday, in fact. So remember, get out and vote if there's one in your area. And of course, remember ID. You will need your ID as well. Remember that. Remind people about that because, again, a lot of people will forget. But remember your ID. So one of the big things, again, I keep on saying, of course, I do think Reform are going to win seats, but I don't think they're going to win as many as people think. I think independents are probably going to do quite well. However, the party I think that will do, I think, very well is the Lib Dems. And we've said this time and time again. Look, the Lib Dems right now, as Ed Davey has pointed out, his mission, he wants to become the main opposition. That's his objective at the next general election. Things like this, next year's Scottish and Senate elections, big opportunities for them potentially as well. The 2028 local council elections, preceding, of course, what will be the 2029 general election, maybe even like late 2030 general election, whenever it gets called. Yeah, I think they've got a very, very good chance because the state of the current Tory party is an absolute shambles. And whereas you have seen an absolute wipeout of them, it almost practically in Westminster, we haven't yet seen that at a local level. Remember, in total, I think Labour is the highest with like 6,000 plus something candidates. Then it's Conservatives with like 5,000 something like councillors throughout the UK. And then it would be the Lib Dems, and they have like 2,000 something. And then it's the other parties, and none of the other parties even come close to them. They're nowhere near that level, quite frankly. So to see, of course, the Lib Dems do well would be a sign of other things to come. It will be a certainly a vindication of Ed Davey's leadership style. I think you will see them go a lot harder in other areas that they want to win, that their targets now will be the remaining Tories or Tories that they know are vulnerable at the next general election. They will look to, of course, keep their gains. That will obviously be a big test for Davey. Can they keep their gains, as it is for any party? So we'll see. But of course, Davey's written recently in The Guardian about, of course, the Lib Dems and, of course, their chances. Now, of course, I think it's worth having a look, basically, what he's got to say, what he thinks his chances for his party are. And of course, he thinks they're pretty good. We hope, why wouldn't he? He's the leader of the party, after all. But yes, it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Friday in particular, what the results are. But expect one thing, as I've said, low turnout. I am talking in the low 20s. I am expecting some very, very low turnout because, unfortunately, as I've said many, many times before, people do not care about local elections. They really don't. As many people in the run up to this week will said they care. Trust me, unfortunately, they don't. But that's just, unfortunately, local politics. It's very sad. It's depressing. And I've said this before, just as important as the stuff that goes on in Westminster. But let's crack on into this because I think this is sort of important to listen to and see what he's saying now, of course. So, obviously, Ed Davey writing his opinion piece in The Guardian saying Kimmy Badenoch says that Lib Dems are people who would fix church roofs. Yes, that's why we are popular and she isn't. Well, he's not wrong. So, do you know somebody who is good at fixing the local church roof? Who is well liked in your community? Well, if you are to go, of course, by the comments of the Conservative Party leader, Kimmy Badenoch, they are quite literally, of course, likely to be standing as the Liberal Democrat candidate at next week's local elections. Yes, that's right. According to Badenoch, a Lib Dem is, quote, somebody who is good at fixing their church roof and the people in their community like them. Reader, I will let you in on a secret. I think she meant it as an insult, but I will happily wear it as a badge of honor. And I think, again, what a dumb statement from Kimmy Badenoch. Because, yeah, like Davey riding on that as, oh, yeah, she meant it as an insult. Like, this guy who does so much good work in your community, standing to be a local councillor, But that's all he's good at. Just, getting the church roof fixed. What use is he going to be as a councillor? Again, it is so bad of an attack line to take against the Lib Dems. I don't understand why she even said it. So bad. So, at the moment, over 1,000 Lib Dem candidates will be standing across England for election on 1st of May. And of course, don't, of course, her comments tell you all you need to know about the state of the Tory party in 2025. Completely out of touch, serially online, and of course, sneering attitude to, of course, serving your community. And oh boy, that right there is an attack straight for all those moderate, right-leaning Tories, all those centrist Tories. Don't have a party? Come to us. Come find your home in our party. I'll tell you now, seems to be working incredibly well. So, the Conservatives were deservedly kicked out of office last year by the British public, but sadly, whole swathes of the country are, of course, still having to put up with the dire record of failing Tory councillors and councillors. And so, in many parts of England, from Cornwall to Cambridgeshire, it is the Lib Dems who are now the main challengers. We are the party that views being a champion for local people, fixing the church roof or a pothole, helping to clean up the local river as something worth fighting for. And as I said, in Ed Davey's publicity stunts, all were targeted very, very much so for a reason. Oh, he's going for a boat ride on this particular river. That's to highlight of the fact that your, Conservative MP has let this happen and done nothing about it. Hey, worked out incredibly well. Incredibly well. But of course, the big problem comes, well, you're now. So can they prove that they are those champions? Can they do that? If I were Ed Davey, I would not just be using it to say, hey, you should come to us. I would be highlighting the stories that, what have these Lib Dem councillors done? What have these Lib Dem MPs done for these areas? I will be highlighting that majorly so. So anyway, he continues. I've been traveling across the country for the past few weeks, albeit via some unusual modes of transport. Again, doing his everything, to get attention, from swan boats to diggers, teacups, and of course, a horse of the hobby variety. And as well as many local people that I've met have told about me that they want to get the Conservatives out of government in their local area. So again, all these stunts, all these types of things worked incredibly well. You haven't seen as much last time because, of course, it's a lot smaller local election than certainly the next one we're going to have. We'll see. We'll see if this, of course, strategy works out. Worked out for the general election. Will it work out the same? It might very well. Might very well. But he continues, I've also been struck by the disappointment, of course, at the new Labour government before I even embarked on the rollercoaster ride at the Big Sheep theme park in Devon last week. Never even knew there was a Big Sheep theme park in Devon, but there you go. The owner explained to me how, while they were, of course, looking forward to a new government after years of struggling through the cost of living crisis, Labour's changes have actually made things worse. The hospitality industry in the southwest and across many parts of the country and is being hammered. Wherever I go, it has been a sense of despondency, whether about the cuts to the winter fuel payments, which has forced pensioners to choose between heating or eating, or the failure to solve the long-standing crisis in social care. Again, I think, as I've said before in my winter fuel payment stuff, I think there's a lot of people who were more affluent than they want to let on that were getting that winter fuel payment, and now they're not getting it, and now of course they're upset that they're not getting it. But as we said before, many people are still receiving the winter fuel payments. Those who need it are still getting it, and of course, crisis in social care are very difficult to solve. But how would the Lib Dems be solving it? But there you go. Anyway, Anger, of course, at the Conservatives and despondency at Labour is, of course, these now are the conditions that, of course, easy sound bites of Nigel Farage and the Reform UK can, of course, start to sound very compelling. But the occasional, I like that. The occasional member for Clacton, I like that very much. Very good attack line on Nigel Farage. And his ilk offer no real solutions. Let's be frank. If you want to fix the NHS, why would you put your trust in a man who in the past has said that he wants to replace the healthcare that is now free at the point of use with an insurance-based model, whatever he may say now? If you, of course, care about high British quality food, then why would you support someone who is in favour of allowing US chlorinated chicken onto the UK supermarket shelves? And if you love your country, why stick with someone who would rather suck up to Vladimir Putin, the leader, the world leader he most admires, than stands up for Britain? Again, very good attack lines on Reform there, and of course Nigel Farage. So, in Hull and East Yorkshire mayor election, wherever expected to be a Lib Dem versus Labour fight is now turning out to be one between the Lib Dems and Reform. That's why the bookies' odds now show Reform and the Lib Dems in the top two, with Labour trailing now into fourth place, with one of the outsiders. When you compare, of course, that because of the two party, there is, of course, no contest. We have a very strong record in running Hull Council, while others, and of course, other local authorities across the country may be more effective in opposition in these ridings. Meanwhile, Farage can't even run his own party. He and his MPs are now fighting like rats in a sack. He's trying to is he now overseeing a bin fire? Yet he wants you to believe that Reform can be trusted with running your local bin collections. Again, very true. Nice attack on that. The fundamental difference between is, of course, that Lib Dems want to work hard for our communities. We're winning up and down the country. So may the first remember, blah, 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 whether it's your church roof that needs fixing, local crime, blah, 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 vote Lib Dems, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, it makes, yeah. Again, I would have brought up some stories of Lib Dems councillors and MPs who have done some good. Show why you want a Lib Dem in place. But that's just me. That's just me, maybe. But yeah, let me know what you think about this. Obviously, I think again it's smart for Ed Davey to be putting that. I think it's interesting, of course, that he would put that out there at the moment. So we'll see what happens, of course, on May the 2nd when we get the results. And we'll see what the results are, though I think it might take longer, as it normally does, to get a turnout sometimes. I would like to see, of course, like the full turnout, what it is across the UK, and then we'll have a look at individual turnout, because that is always even more depressing. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, let me know what you think down below in the comments. And there are links down below to help support the channel, the Patreon page, the Buy Me Coffee link, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, the Pony Club as well. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, we'll see you all next time.